Not the sports news on OmniAudio.Africa with Romy Titus and Kevin McCallum.
Every Monday, we drop a line to the editor of the Far Post, Mthokozisi Dube. He now joins us. Mtho, what a weekend. Kevin is so scatterbrained. He watched so much football that various football games now live in his head as 190 minutes. Was that you this weekend? What were you watching?
A lot of football, Romy. A lot of football. I was curious to see how Bafana would do. I was also wanted to see how McCarthy would do, also with that Kenya team. It was quite a weekend, jam-packed weekend.
Indeed. Let's talk about Bafana. I actually thought that they would rattle the back of the net way earlier than the second half.
Look, Lesotho didn't come to play for a win. They would have been comfortable getting a draw. So they made it a bit difficult for Bafana, especially in tough. But this Bafana team has proven that we no longer need calculators, Romy. They get the job done very early. And I think in those two goals coming from two players that are, were making their debut for, their first starts for Bafana, I think it says a lot about this team and what Hugo Bruce has done. I think Hugo Bruce deserves a lot of credit for what he's done with this team.
Definitely. Happy there with that 2-0 win. Mofokeng as well as Adams. Heading into the second game. Today's match day -1. They play Benin tomorrow. Does it help that in Abidjan they're a little bit more familiar with their surrounds?
Yeah, it does. Definitely does, because Benin is not at home. They are away from home. They are playing in a city, country pitch that Bafana. No, they played there in the, during the AFCON. So it's a bit of a neutral, venue for both teams. But I think with the confidence that Bafana have, I do feel they're in a very good position. Playing in Ivory Coast, and they would know that if they get these 3 points, I think it would put them in a very good position, because Nigeria is coming, very well, which is good for Bafana because they beat Rwanda, who were previously top of the group, and so Rwanda have gone down, and Nigeria playing Zim, tomorrow. It's gonna be a very good one for Bafana.
Just taking a look at the starting lineup that Coach Hugo did put up, do you see any changes, you think, against the Benin especially?
Yeah, I do think he will make a few changes. Possibly 2 changes. I think he did mention that Mofokeng started because he felt the game was right. Playing against Lesotho, there was not much pressure for Mofokeng. And then Jaden Adams also getting his start. I get the sense that he could actually make, two changes there. We could see also Napoli starting ahead of Mofokeng. And then I also see Batusi Obas coming in for Jaden Adams, possibly. And because he would probably be looking at bringing them in the second half.
You said wanting to know how Benny was doing. Didn't do too well, losing there, but it's ambitious to say, here they go, and this is what he wants to do. And everybody said, this task is way too big. But I'm just trying to think, what are your thoughts around how does he make the Kenyan national team tick, considering the little time that he has to create this miracle?
And that team also frustrated me, I think the way they defend, I think just a few days ago I saw them leaking 3 goals, and yesterday again also, leaking 2 goals and only scoring 1. So his defense will be something that he needs to attend to as quick as he can. And when I look at that team up front, I think their decision making still leaves a lot to be desired. He has a lot of work to do, on the team. But I'm just not sure if they're going to give him enough time to work on the team and get the team playing the way that he wants them to play. I know Kenya have not done very well in a very long time, and there will be a lot of impatience from the fans, and I know how Kenyan fans are when it comes to their national team. So I do fear that time may not be a commodity he has at this point.
I have to agree with you there. Until also, we're heading to the end of the Betway Prem season. That is around the corner. And then also the gavel dropped in terms of the applications for Royal AM. What is the murmurings down under there? What is happening? Who's taking this team?
Look, it's still not clear who's taking the team. I mean, a lot of names have been, dropped as people that want to buy the team, and I'm sure possibly in, between today and Wednesday we'll know who exactly, is trying to buy the team. But it's a bit of a complicated one for the PSL, because when you look at the number of games that Royal AM has played and the other team, there's a difference of 10, 11 games. So whoever buys the team, it's. I'm just trying to imagine how they would then handle the fixturing, because they are 10 games behind. So it's going to be a bit of a tricky one, unless they don't relegate any teams this season, but which is also a bit weird.
2 up, 2 down, as it always stands, should be. I don't think we should make any exceptions anymore. Based on, the question marks around Royal AM. But we will be, touching base with you on that. Very interestingly, though, also, a story on Far Post is Jessica Mutaung targets key PSL meeting. What is this meeting about, based on ACA?
Yes. Of course, I mean, things have started moving now with the ACA. They've got their base in Morocco in Saleh. And then they also signed an MOU with CAF, so they now need to get down to business. So Jessica says her first port of call is engaging the PSL, and then she will then engage the other associations in the COSAFA region. It's expected that the other board members who are in different regions will also do the same in their bases. So that's what the meeting is about.
All right, African Clubs Association.
And they're going to be giving clubs got a US $50,000 solidarity fee when they take part in the CAF Interclub Championships, and that's good. But Seppi's doing some good work there.
No, he is, I think, and I think it's good to see that he's got another term. Let's see what more changes he makes. I mean, we've seen the prize money of the CAF Confed Cup and the CAF Champions League increase by 40%. We've seen the prize money for the AFCON also increase, including the Chan as well, So it will be interesting to see what more changes he makes in the next 4 years.
How many terms can the CAF president run for, Mto?
Issa hired to run several terms in childhood until I was an adult. So Mzebe can be a lifetime president if he wants.
Gosh, well, I guess if things are going as well as they are, if not, why not? Anything else on your desk that you want to share with us, Mto?
Look, I think the most important thing is the game, tomorrow. Other than that, I think, there's nothing much.
Did you watch any of the European football? I mean, there's some incredible goals of the weekend. I mean, this is the games that confused me. I mean, Spain, Holland 3-3, Portugal, Denmark 5-2, Germany, Italy 5-3. I mean, it was just extraordinary. I mean, what did they say here? The BBC reported 131 attempts at goal, 21 goals in 4 games, and then 3 games went to extra time, and 2 to sudden death in the shootout. I mean, it was an extraordinary weekend for sport all round, particularly football, though, for me.
Absolutely, and I think for me, being a big fan of Yamin, I always want to see how they use him, and so I think the game that I watched was the Spain one. Very, very interesting. And obviously they went through after after a penalty shootout. So quite some good interesting football. But I think maybe lessons as well, because we've got young players in South Africa and Africa as well. You look at how they are using Yamal, and he's coming in and he's scoring goals. He's got so much impact. So the reason I follow this is because I want to see, when it comes to Mofokeng, how will Hugo proceed? He's going to start him tomorrow, and so there's lessons to be picked from how Spain are using the young Lamine.
Yeah, if you're good enough, you're old enough. It's basically
Yeah.
Absolutely.
exactly it.
Yeah.
And this kid's been doing it since he was 16. He's 17, coming up to 18. I mean, he's just incredible. And he doesn't look like a youngster. He doesn't look like a teenager.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. And I think he starts because he's good enough to start games, not because he's a young player.
Yeah.
So we want to see the same in Africa as well.
Or even and give like Cristiano Ronaldo still playing at 40. I don't know if you saw the penalty he took, which was shocking. But Bruno Fernandes was already celebrating the penalty before he took the shot. And his hands in the air and went, "Oh, bugger, he missed." he was trying to very sheepishly walk away.
Yeah, like no, I wasn't pre-celebrating there. So always nice chatting to you. Thank you so much for all your insight.
Thank you so much, Romy.
Mthokozisi Dube there from the Far Post.
You can say he's had a busy weekend. His site is incredible. Far Post is
It
extraordinary.
is.
I mean, the stories that he don't just like do the mainstream stories. The stuff that I wouldn't even think about.
There's always a different angle to the stories, which is
Yeah.
what I appreciate, which isn't always what all the other media are going with. And that is what I appreciate from the Far Post.
Coming up after the break, we're going to be doing Kev's Betway bets.
Oh, yes.
brought to you
Oh,
by
my goodness.
Betway.
I was about to say goodbye. How much money did you bag?
Not a lot. None.
How much? Nothing?
I lost the game, but we'll go through it. I've lost by 1. I got 4 out of 5 choices right. And who cost me? Bloody Kiwis. Kiwi rugby players. You can't trust them.
Not the sports news on Omni Audio Africa.